So I'd like to welcome Alison Langan, who is the chair of the Hope Foundation. Alison was also recently VP Surgical here at the college, and we're just going to have a talk about the Hope Foundation and see where we go. So Alison, first of all, welcome. I'd like to just ask you around about what the Hope Foundation is, so that people can learn about that. So what is the Hope Foundation?
Within college, the fellows and members were really keen that they could organise themselves as a community of fundraisers, because the college is just that. It's just a large community of people who do many different things across all the medical specialties and the allied professions to medicine. And as part of that, they were keen to raise money in a way that we could support the projects that were presented to us as projects that maybe are not quite so popular, not quite seen as the obvious projects to support with funding. Many people who raise money for charities are raising it because it's their special interest in medicine or because they have a family situation and they have those projects that they raise money for. And I think the Hope Foundation is slightly different in that way, that we raise money as a community and then we decide where that money can be awarded. And we have specifics in mind when we're looking at those projects.
And my understanding is that the Hope Foundation not only funds projects locally, but a bit further afield as well.
So the projects that we fund, we want them to be sustainable. We want it to be projects where the people that are looking for that kind of funding are maybe find it difficult to access medical help. They find it difficult to access funding, and often you find that those areas of deprivation and deprived funding for what those projects are also people that find it quite difficult to fundraise. Mm-hmm. You forget that it's not that they just don't have money, but they sometimes don't have the way to raise that money, and we do. And so we have the Kilt Walk that we do every year. We have a Burn Supper, we have a summer ball, we have a St Andrew's ball, where, as again, a community, we get together, we enjoy ourselves, but we also raise money.
One of the founding things for it, we are the Hope Foundation is a charity, the college is a charity after all, was from our founder, Peter Lowe. And I think one of the quotes round about hope, and I think this is where we got the name Hope from, maybe, was he asked a question in one of his books round about what is hope. And I think the answer was it's a emotion by which the heart desireth the good future. And I know that's kind of a bit dated maybe language, but it is round about looking at what we can do as a charity to help people. And I think the areas round about that which are mentioned are round about partnership and sort of being influential, inspirational as we can as a college and as the charity, learning from that and using care and compassion. Are there any aspects or anything from those sort of aims and principles that you think we could use or take forwards as a charity from the Hope Foundation?
I think from the heritage of the college was set up to make sure that the principles of caring for people were not just there as a thought or as an idea, but they were actually written down. You know, we have a charter, we have guidelines, we have rules and protocols in modern day, but all of that is there so that we have a way of looking after our patients and making sure that they get the best treatment. And that's the hope for the future for all branches of medicine here, but certainly overseas. You want to be able to take those hopes that medical treatment of the same standard should be accessed by everyone. And that is exactly the same as you would in parts of the UK. We have deprived areas here where people are much less likely to seek out medical treatment, but they might do it if it's more community-based and if we have projects that interest them and that there's a way of doing that.
We've got an exhibition coming up which is called Words of Hope and Kindness. And part of that is round about the quote that I was talking about Peter Lowe, and another quote that I'm going to be talking about as well. There are some parallels with the Hope Foundation about our aims for this exhibition. Round about, we've been through so much during COVID, having time to reflect and recover. And part of the Hope Foundation, I guess, is round about where are there areas locally or abroad where people want to reflect and recover coming out of COVID.
You know, the founding principles of the Hope Foundation were about hope and kindness. And as a community, we were really keen to demonstrate that kindness as a group of doctors in a more solid way. And so the charity within the charity, as it were, was set up because the Hope Foundation wanted to be able to show that kindness. Hope is not always something for the future, so these projects tend to be to roll out ideas for the future. And yes, it does go back to when we've got someone from the 16th century, but it applies just equally as now. And I think even more so after the last year and a half that we've had.
Personally, through COVID, we've all experienced our ups and downs and challenges. Is there anything that you've personally reflected on in your professional life from a hope and kindness point of view that has helped you get through it, or anything that's you've had any words of kindness given to you, if you see what I mean?
I'm a breast cancer surgeon, and I think patients are always incredibly appreciative. There's a tiny number of patients who are unhappy with the service. They're always very appreciative when they get their appointments through and they get their surgery dates, and they come back with the results and they get their treatment. And they were certainly incredibly appreciative when that continued. And so it was very nice for us as cancer doctors to have that appreciation from the patients that we kept going throughout, we kept operating. We were chatting earlier about we operated in lots of different hospitals and lots of new settings, and we just were a sort of nomadic tribe of cancer surgeons who went wherever we could get space. And I think the patients were just so lovely about the inconvenience of it all, but happy to be there, and to get the treatment that they thought they wouldn't get, or to get the appointments that they thought had all been cancelled, and that was lovely. Just to see them happy that we were still working.
So we've gone from having real uncertainty, everything changing, to having treatment options for COVID, to having vaccination programme rollout, which has been absolutely amazing, done in such a short period of time, giving people some hope. I think that's the other part of it, is where March last year, the last time I was in the college until very recently, I can still remember it was the 8th of March, it was International Women's Day, and that was the last time I was here, and then we went straight into the first wave of COVID. I was in the front line, as we were talking about, dealing with lots of COVID patients. But I think looking back, everyone was amazing, and I think that's the thing that's given me hope. And we all treated each other kindly, and helped each other through it. And I think that was the part of it where I got real strength, was from the team.
We're used to doing so many jobs. And you know that what we do now is just a huge team. And we just took that to the next level, that rather than just doing our job within that team, we would do that person's job and that person's job, because this person was off isolating, or this person was unwell, or this person was shielding. And you did lots of different jobs, but everything got done.
From a college point of view, the staff did really amazingly well as well, and that's why we get to be here again today. And with reopening as well, it's really nice to go back in as the head as honorary librarian I couldn't get in and see my books. So that was one of the things that I, the first time I came back, I was running in to look at the library, which sounds a bit sad, doesn't it, really? But that was the amazing thing. And I did Teams meetings with the heritage team, which were great too, and that kept up my spirits as well. So I think we can't take away the fact that the college staff have done amazingly well supporting everyone and with reopening as well. Well, it's been lovely to talk to you, Alison. I hope we can do this again at some point. And I'm hoping that there'll be some contributions from the Hope Foundation with regards to our exhibition that's being launched as we're talking. And that's an ongoing exhibition that'll be over this year. And look forward to maybe having another chat at some point around about the Hope Foundation and what else we can do. Thank you for joining me, Alison.
Pleasure.